Hey guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Alright, I kind of changed the backstory. I tweaked it a little bit when I was making the script. So, let's get on to this What If. In this timeline, Thanos and Ultron came back to Earth and formed the Alliance, with Thanos having all the Infinity Stones in his gauntlet and began slaughtering the citizens of Earth, eventually brutally killing the Avengers and slaughtering any resistance. Thanos and Ultron successfully took over Earth in a year time. As you see two people working on some sort of device, as you see Inko Parker and Peter Parker. Peter is missing his right arm, and he has he has a eye patch on the right side of his face. As Peter called for his son to come over, as a 14-year-old boy walked into the rundown laboratory. What is it? Oh, sorry. What is it, Father? We don't have much time, son. Once we activate the dimensional travel device, you need to hurry to go through the portal. I don't know what the actual call the device, but it basically travels through it's able to help you travel through parallel Earths, parallel worlds, all different versions of Earth. But what about you and Mom? Your father's right. As she begins the machine, we don't have enough power for more than one person. This is a one-way trip, son. As your mother, I will do anything in my power to keep you safe. And no arguing. Are we clear? Understood, Mom. As she clenched his teeth, Inko knows that her son doesn't want to leave. But that's my sweet little boy. As she ruffles her son's hair, we will be sending you to a parallel Earth that has no Spider-Man in it. That's right, my son. Once you enter that dimension and take the mantle of Spider-Man to use as you see fit. As you see, I'm not in the best shape. I'm no longer a spring chicken, son. I know you'll do fine. After all, your spider abilities are far more powerful than mine. I've always done it by a... Oh, sorry, give me a second here. I got my powers from a radioactive spider. You were born with those. When it comes to power, it's like... Oh, give me a second here. When it comes to our type of power, don't be surprised you develop new abilities. I know you're worried about me and your father. We'll be fine. I just want to provide you with some... Sorry, I want to provide you so that the most possible peaceful life as possible, basically, I'm trying to say. If I have to send you another parallel Earth to do it, so be it. We'll buy our time after we'll buy time in Laylo when we send you to parallel Earth and gather enough energy to follow you shortly afterwards. It might take a couple years to get enough energy to attempt to open the portal up again. After all, this is a very unstable technology, son. Inko walked over to the wall. She already, as she walked back over to the console to fully activate it, it was running. Machine's on, but it hasn't activated the portal yet. As she walked over to the console, pressed the button on the machine. As the device starts to spark, as it creates a red portal, a small red portal. Do you have everything you need, son? Yeah, Mom. I have everything in my backpack. That's good, dear. She gives her son a huge hug. Just promise me you won't stay up too late and eat properly. It will it will give your mother some relief. I promise, Mom. As she let go of her son to let her husband say his goodbyes. All right, little slugger, give your old man a hug. As Peter embraced his son in a hug, allow me to give you some advice. Stay away from a woman that calls herself Black Cat. She's nothing but trouble. Trust me on that. And be wary of someone called Carnage. Here's a here's a disk drive of all the information of all my past foes I've fought back in my younger years. You do fine, son. Make me proud. Will do, old man. Will do, old man. Before you leave, son, here, as she hands over his very own Spider-Man suit that she made specifically for him. What's this, Mom? You can't well be Spider-Man without the proper attire. As Inko and Peter watched their son go through the portal, as the portal closed right behind, leaving the leaving the two parents only by themselves for the first time in many years. We need to move fast. We need to disassemble everything and get out of here. Agreed. It's only a matter of time before Thanos catches on what we're doing here. As a red portal opened up in the middle of the city in New York, as a boy wearing a green hoodie steps out of the portal, as the portal closed right behind him, as he shot out his web from his wrist that he produced in his body. For some reason, he's able to generate webbing without using the device that his father used to create his webs. Ezekiel web across the city, trying to find a place to stay for the night. While he was web swinging around the city, at the same time, a storm hit New York City out of nowhere as heavy rain began to fall. As he sees the abandoned building in the distance, as he swung his way over there, as he lands on top of the roof, as he crawled down the side of the wall to go through one of the windows. After searching the whole building, he found nothing out of the ordinary as he picked one of the rooms and lay down to sleep for the night. The next day, Izuku woke up by the birds chirping as the sun shined through the window. As he gets up and stretches, first thing I need to do is find a good spot to hook into Wi-Fi, so I could hack into the government system and forge my documents or identity, basically. Izuku left his temporary home to a nearby cafe. He walked into the internet cafe while wearing his green hoodie, the hood over his head to conceal his face. The only people in the internet cafe outside of the staff is two girls around the same age as Izuku talking along themselves. The blonde girl is too concentrated on her conversation with the black hair girl to notice Izuku entered the internet cafe. Izuku did notice the black hair girl stared at him for a little bit. When since the moment he got into her view of sight, then a second later, she resumed her conversation with her blonde friend when Izuku walked past her, basically. As he sat down on the far end of the table of the room and took out his laptop and got it hooked up to the Wi-Fi and connected to the internet as he casually hacked into the government database, forging fake identity for himself. Izuku is quite talented when it comes to hacking. Under his mom's tutelage, Izuku became a very dangerous hacker. He has hacked into alien technology before, so hacking into a U.S. government database would be child's play to him. The main issue is not that he can hack or can't get into the database. The main issue is while he's hacking and forging the fake identity for himself that literally don't even exist until he creates it, that he can leave the database without being noticed. If he had the proper equipment, he could easily perform this task, but with the current equipment he is limited what he can do. Regardless if he gets noticed or not, he has everything he needs to make fake IDs back at the place where he's been staying. He needs to get into the database to change what he needs to then change what he needs, then get out basically. 20 minutes later, Izuku successfully hacked into the government database and forged his fake identity, then successfully got out of there, but unfortunately he got himself on S.H.I.E.L.D's radar. As we cut to sorry, give me a second here. As we cut to S.H.I.E.L.D, Nick Fury is sitting in his office on his Halo carrier. As Natasha bursts through his office out of nowhere. What is it, Natasha? There's been a breach, sir. You have my attention. Continue. Approximately 20 minutes ago, someone hacked into the government database. We're still determining what they were after. Location? We're still trying to pinpoint the hacker's location, sir. What's your thought on this? Do you think this is do you think we're dealing with a group of hackers, or are we just dealing with a rogue? According to what I've seen, sir, at first I thought, I thought it was a group that was the original theory. Whoever this hacker is made it look like there was a group of them. In truth, there's only one. I believe it was most likely some sort of intimidation tactic to take their opponent off guard. I've only seen one person have this sort of style when it comes to hacking. Whoever he or she is, they're very talented. I almost didn't catch on to it. Very well, Natasha. I'll trust your gut on this one. So is there something else you wanted? May I speak freely, sir? Proceed. I think we should recruit this one. I have a feeling there's a lot more than to this hacker than simply hacking. The way the hacker the way the hack the way the hacker hacked in. I've seen that type of hacking before. This this hacker hacks in the same style as Agent Inko. For some reason that was really hard to say. Okay, let's continue on now. Wait, we'll wait and see about recruiting whoever this hacker is. But bring Inko. But bring Inko on board. She would be a great asset in finding and locating this hacker. Keep me posted of your progress. Yes, sir. As Natasha walked out of Theory's office, as we cut back to Izuku leaving the internet cafe, the moment Izuku left the cafe, Cindy turned to Gwen. Shut up for a second, Gwen. Come on, follow me. Cindy, what's going on? As Cindy is dragging Gwen out of the internet cafe by her wrist. Keep quiet and help me follow that boy. The one with the green hoodie. That's walking down the street. And may I ask, why are we stalking this guy? I don't know. He seems strange and familiar at the same time. I just don't know. Just shut up and let's follow him. Fine, if we're going to stalk a guy, you might as well stock up on the rooftops. As the two girls shadow Izuku on the rooftops, Izuku stepped into the alleyway and pulled out the laptop and took out the hard drive and put the laptop in and tossed it into the dumpster as he walked out of the alleyway, very casually. It took Izuku 20 minutes to get back to the old abandoned building he's been staying in. Before Cindy could find out why he's going into that building, she heard her earpiece go off, as it's a direct line to S.H.I.E.L.D. for their agents. Agent Silk, this is Black Widow. We need you back at the base. Is the blonde with you? I believe her name was Stacy or something like that. No, Gwen. It was Gwen. Yes, ma'am. She's right next to me. And you're right. Her name is Gwen. Good. Bring her along as well. Understood, ma'am. What's going on? You will be debriefed once you get back. Understood, ma'am. Let's go, Gwen. Black Widow wants us back at the headquarters, back at the base. Hopefully this won't take long. After all, we have school in the morning, and my mom would kill me if I missed a day of school. Well, we won't know until we get there. Fine, I'm coming. Sometime later, Inko is called in the middle of the night to the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier that Nick Fury used used for a home, or I can't pronounce that for some reason. Home base for S.H.I.E.L.D. This Inko in this parallel world never got married, never had a child. She was too focused on her projects as Inko is in her early 20s. She graduated high school and got her college degree before she turned 14. Then spent the rest of her years working that caught her eye. Then sometime later, she was recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D. to run their cyber defense for S.H.I.E.L.D. And she runs her own superhero team to help for minor threats that the Avengers are too busy to take care of. A junior team of heroes. At first, she was annoyed being interrupted, but what Natasha told her got her curious. That someone is using similar methods of hacking that she uses. As Inko is standing in S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters in the debriefing room, waiting, waiting for everyone to gather so they can start this briefing. She eventually saw Cindy and Gwen come in alongside with Black Widow. Then finally Nick Fury came in. It seems like everyone here that's able to make it. Natasha, you take the lead on this one. Understood, sir. Earlier today, a unknown hacker hacked into the U.S. government database. The motives are still unclear. The hacker never once went towards any top secret files. We already pinpointed the location where the where the hack took place. The internet cafe you two girls like to go to. Try it again. The internet cafe you two girls seem to be quite fond of. While you were there today, did you see anything out of the unordinary, Agent Silk? Before we continue, I'm having a hard time speaking today, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, it's hard for some reason. I'm just having an off day, so okay. Let's continue. Oh, sorry. Nothing really out of the ordinary happened outside of a guy wearing a green hoodie walking in and take out his laptop. Then about 30 or 40 minutes later, he left. I got curious, so I followed him to a old abandoned building, and that's when you called us back at the base, ma'am. Thank you for the intel, agent. The hacker's identities all point to that boy you followed. Me and Miss Inko over there as Agent Glenn and Silk. When you're not at school, I want you with Silk to observe the hacker. Until we gather enough intel on him, we cannot strike. We don't know if he has any powers or he's just a normal human. As a week has passed by, he's been hacking into corrupt corporations and hacking into several of their personal bank accounts and transferring a large amount of money over to his other bank accounts so that sending more than one bank account he has throughout all different accounts so no one gets suspicious. That's how he's been getting his income. About time he was bored. Oh sorry. Give me a second here, guys. When he was growing up, when the world was already at shit, he had to learn fast to develop street smarts to survive. He knows he won't be exactly like his old man when he finally takes the mantle of Spider-Man. He's not as kind-hearted as his father. He would never kill anyone, but that doesn't mean he won't send them to the hospital. As he's not afraid to bend the rules a little bit to get the job done. He's had to learn that on the field when he was raiding a lot of Thanos of and Ultron's bases. But when the Avengers finally figured out that Ultron and Thanos were working together, it was already too late. They were hunted down one by one and ultimately killed. And he learned and he took what he learned and to make sure not to be the not to seek the same fate. And if he has to bend the rules a little bit to stop something like that to happening again in this world, he's more than willing to do it. There's one thing he learned on his original world is that Thanos and Ultron are a serious threat that must be taken down brutally and precisely. Precise. Sorry. As easy could just left the store to Sorry, he just left the search and he's on his way back home to that old abandoned building he's been staying in. He brought a few items to make a lot more homey when he found out that the building had a underground basement bunker. As he entered the building, his spider sense went off, and several well-armed men come rushing towards Izuku. Izuku was forced to disarm them by shooting out his web at the weapons and slamming them against the stone wall, breaking the rifles. While he's battling, the the S.H.I.E.L.D agents are observing are observing the battle in their little let's just say Inko is observing Izuku his entire fight with Silk and Gwen alongside with Black Widow in their temporary base they made for this operation. When he finally got rid of the guns, he repeatedly shot out web shots at their chests, making them go fly backwards from the pressure of from the hit. Then when they hit the wall, the web absorbed their body, making them stick to the wall. Basically, it wrapped around their body, basically. Enveloped with whatever surfaces they landed on. As the S.H.I.E.L.D agents are webbed up against the wall, a couple of them are on the beam that supports the building. Black Widow, I'll be sending my unit. I'll be dealing with this one personally. I would like to have a word with this young man. Don't worry, I'll bring him back alive. He might be injured. It all depends on him, really. I'll keep you updated. As she walked out of the home their temporary base and went out the room to confront Izuku with her team. After he made sure to check up on all the people that attacked him to make sure they were unconscious, he heard several people approaching. They seemed to have the same symbol like the last group that attacked him, with a green hair woman that looks like in her 20s, that she has a striking resemblance of his mother. His mother told him that he might come across a version of herself in his parallel world. When she first told him about the parallel world, when they were talking about sending him to here, thus thus to to discuss the matter with him. But ultimately, they made their final decision to send him here. Izuku was surprised to see. He was surprised to see her, but not shocked. He knew the parallel version of his mother is whatever. He knows the parallel version of his mother is quite younger than what his mother actually is. Inko has a smirk on her face. Take him. As long as you bring him before me. If you have to rough him up a little bit, so be it, as long as he's alive. I won't have... And please don't disappoint me, or I'll have to punish you all. Understood? In a sweet, innocent voice, as all her unit and unit said yes, ma'am. As they all rushed Izuku all at once. Izuku shot out web to the closest person to him. As the web hit the man's helmet, as he pulls onto the web, making the man fall to the ground, making the moment he hit the cement, breaking his helmet from the impact. As the rest of them open up fire, as they're shooting blanks at Izuku as Izuku's jumping up in the air and begins to spin sideways, while dodging all the bullets and landing on all fours on the shield agents on the land on all fours, then rush the shield agents as Izuku uppercuts one of them, then kicking him up in the air and slamming his feet into the man's chest, making him hit the ground hard. As Izuku lands on the man's stomach and jumps backwards a little bit as he gets into a battle stance. I don't know who you are, guys, but you're pretty persistent, I'll give you that. I highly doubt we can talk this out, so I'm going to have to rough you up a little bit. As he used the ceiling to latch onto his web and swing around the room, as his web swinging and kicking the remaining guys against the wall and webbing them up so they get stuck against the wall so they can't attempt to do anything or they won't interfere. As his attention finally got his attention towards the green hair woman that has a striking resemblance of his mother. Don't get don't get too ahead of yourself. You might have got past my unit, but you won't get past me. If I have to get my hands dirty to make you obedient, so be it. I'll give you this one chance. Surrender peacefully, and you could avoid any future injuries I'm about to give you. As that smirk never left her face. What sort of injuries you saw in your mighty vision, O mighty oracle? As he has a smirk on his face, once he noticed he got under her skin, as he sees her eyebrow twitching, his spider sense went off out of nowhere as he gets thrown against the wall, as Inko has her hand extended outwards, as she flicks one finger as he goes flying against the opposite side of the wall. Yep, I knew I forgot something. Totally forgot my mom had telekinesis. Oh, that hurt. As... give me a second, guys. And here we go again. As she flings him against the wall, using her telekinesis like she was playing ping pong. When Izuku tried to get up and to jump out the window, she flicked him back into the room with her telekinesis and slammed him in the middle of the room, then slowly walked up to Izuku. You ready to surrender now? Sadly, I refuse. I'll give you this, kid. You're tough. As she still has a smile on her face. You only have yourself to blame. As she extended her hand, as Izuku gets shot upwards to the roof of the room, then she slammed him right back downward to the ground, hard, as there's a small crater where he's laying. She lifts him up and do it again. As she continues to do this for a few moments, when she finally stopped attacking him, Izuku barely had enough energy to get up on his feet as he's breathing heavy. When he was about to fully get up, she tossed him down with her telekinesis, like a rag doll, yet again. As he's on his stomach, as fun as this has been, as fun as this is as a stress reliever, you know you can't escape me. I really don't want to hurt you any further. As she forced him down to the wall, give me a second, guys. As she used her telekinesis to force him down to the ground again when he tried to get back up. and walked over to him, put her foot on his back, and handcuffed him. Izuku dragged Izuku up. Well, Inko dragged Izuku up and led him out of the building where there were several S.H.I.E.L.D. aircrafts were waiting to transport their new prisoner to the interrogation room. The only thing keeping Izuku dry from the rain is his hoodie that he's still wearing. As she sat down right next to him, don't feel too bad. If it was anyone else, you probably would have got away with it. You were just unlucky that you caught my interest. You've been a very bad boy, and you have a lot of questions to answer for. Trust me, it's in your best interest to tell us willingly. Torture is such a nasty piece of business. Inko's fully aware S.H.I.E.L.D. don't torture people, but he doesn't know that, and she's counting on it to make sure he's more compliant. When she turned back to make sure the kid doesn't do anything funny, she noticed his handcuffs are no longer there, as he's playing a game on his phone. Where the hell the handcuffs are? Don't do handcuffs, so I took them off. Don't worry, even if I could escape, you would probably track me down anyway, so I might as well see where this goes. So, fellow hacker, what's your name? I go by Izuku. And I'm Inko. You have the rare honor of being captured by none other than one of my other previous prisoners I've captured are treated with such care. You consider yourself lucky. Oh, good, I think we're here. As she told Izuku to follow her when they land on the helicarrier, as she directed him into the interrogation room, where he sat down and watched her leave the room. Immediately afterwards, as he's waiting in the interrogation room by himself, Inko regrouped with the rest of her team behind a two-way mirror leading to an interrogation room where Izuku is in. Now that you're here, you had the most contact with the boy. What do you think of him? He seems to be quite intelligent, very capable, despite his age, and seems to have been trained to fight. And he has similar abilities as so far I've seen, like Silk and Gwen over there. And as the one leading their team, it's my responsibility to make sure they have the right numbers. When you get the information out of him, I would like to request for him to be placed in a third spot for my team. I would hate to see his talents go to waste. Make a good addition for my little young hero team. I'll take that under advisement, Inko. Do you think you could get him to talk, Inko? Normally I would ask Natasha over here. I decided to take another approach. It's going to be hard, sir. So what do we have on him anyways? The only thing we could find on the boy was the fake identity he made for himself by hacking into the US government database. Outside of that, he's a ghost. We've had his picture that we managed to get from one of the security cameras to send to different intelligence agencies across the world, but nothing came back. He's a ghost. At least we know what powers he has, so we can prepare if things get ugly. Understood, sir. I'll start immediately. Bring Natasha with you just in case. If you need help. It's never too late to be too careful. Judging by what I've seen what those two could cause, it's better to be safe. Cindy chose to ignore the comment, but Gwen was kind of offended. Understood. Shall we go, Inko? Right behind you. And girls, you could go home now. As Natasha and Inko walk out of the room to go to the interrogation room where Izuku is being held, the first thing Izuku noticed was Inko. Right behind her was a red-haired woman. As she leaned against the wall to let Inko do her job. I told you you would see me soon. This is my coworker, Black Widow. She'll be overseeing this interrogation. State your first name. It's just routine. Peter Parker. Oh, sorry. Not Peter Parker, sorry. Izuku Parker. And the name of your parents? Peter Parker and Inko Parker. That name did catch her by surprise. She didn't know that his mother and shared the same name as her. State your age and what country you reside in. 14 and I'm a U.S. citizen. U.S. citizen. There we go. We got out of the way. Who exactly are you? And why did you hack into the government database? I just don't understand why you just changed. All you did was to just make yourself a fake identity. I just don't understand. What were your method? Usually, when someone hacks the U.S. government like that, they're after something. Getting down to the core of matters, are we already? Very well. It's not like you have sorry. It's not like you have a special office for travelers from parallel worlds. So shoot me. I hack into the U.S. government database to make myself a fake identity, so I could easily adjust being stuck here. I don't know. I do know I broke the law. I know I probably broke the law by doing so, but it was a necessary sacrifice that must been take. It was a necessary sacrifice. What do you mean parallel Earth? My original Earth is very much like this one. Just a few minor differences. Like the major difference from my world and this one. You don't have a Peter Parker on this world. So you don't have a So you don't have a Peter Parker, so you don't have a Spider-Man. Spider-Man? It's my old man hero code name he went by. We'll depend on that subject for now. Let's just say you got away with it. What exactly were you planning to do? What's your motives? Jesus, I don't have any motives. I just need to get myself an identity so that I could live properly. After all, it'd be really hard to get around the city without the proper identification. It's not like I have any evil plan or anything like that. If what you say is true, where is your parents? There wasn't enough energy, so I was the only one able to go through. They said they would follow shortly, but I'm not stupid. There's a good chance that they're already dead on my Earth. Let's let's just leave it at that. I can't reveal all my secrets now. After all, we just met. As a grin formed on his face, as her eyebrow is twitching, what I want to know is, how did you get your powers? Did you get your powers from a radioactive spider? No, but that's how my old man got his powers. I was born with mine. No spider needed. That's all for now. Please follow us. We will be placing you in a containment cell. Then we'll talk later about what's going to happen from now on. Try to get some rest. We'll most likely won't see you. Most likely won't see anyone until tomorrow. Until tomorrow. As Izuku watches Inko put him in, well, leave when she shut the cell door, as she walked away with Natasha back to Nick Fury to get her future orders and debrief him on of the situation. As he's been stuck in his cell for a few days. Only time he was only time they let him out of cell was to give blood samples. He didn't really think much of it at the time. From the lack of food, he wasn't really thinking straight. Nick Fury is waiting in his office, waiting for Agent Inko to come in. He wanted to see her after getting the blood results, and he was quite shocked and surprised to see that Inko is technically the boy's biological mother, even though he knows for sure that she's never had any kids, and she's far too young to have a kid of that age. Inko knocked on the door of his office. When she got an answer, she let herself in. You wanted to see me, sir? You might want to sit down for this one. This thing about him being a traveler from a parallel Earth, I've seen something similar to that before. So that's a total possibility, considering there's no record on him on any country's database. That's only help proves that he's from another that he's telling the truth, that he's from another parallel world. Until I see otherwise, I don't see why not to believe him. But that's not why I called you here today. Here, take a look at the blood sample results. As Inka goes over to the blood results, then she closed the folder quietly and gently set it on the table. She has emotionless expression. Her mind is on overdrive right now, just processing the information she saw. Taking this a lot better than I thought you would. As Inko finally spoke, ever since I found out the name of his mother, I had a sinking suspicion. But everything in the test results seems legit. Technically, he is my son from a parallel Earth. Well, I'll be damned. Life is going to be a lot more interesting now. I plan to offer him a place in S.H.I.E.L.D. If he accepts, I'll place him under your care. After all, you're his biological mother. I come from a parallel Earth, but genetics don't lie. Thank you, sir. I'll give the young man a day to sweat before I approach him. A day later, Nick Fury, standing in front of Izuku's cell. Name's Nick Fury. I'm the boss around here. So you're the big man. As Izuku's still laying on the bed, not getting up from his spot. What do you want, boss man? You got yourself in quite a bit of trouble, Izuku. You broke a lot of laws. You're looking at a long time behind bars. But there's a silver lining in this. If you join S.H.I.E.L.D., my organization, we'll clear you of all charges in 4 years' time. When you turn 18, you'll be free to do whatever you want. It's not a bad deal, kid. You get a roof over your head. You have to come every time we call, and we will be placing you under Inko's supervision. I don't really have too many options here, so sure, I'm on board. You got yourself a deal, Fury. That's what I like to hear. Welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D. Natasha here will get you all sorted out. Welcome aboard, Izuku. Please follow me. Izuku followed Natasha into a room as she handed him some S.H.I.E.L.D. equipment, as she handed him a communicator that could be placed in his ear to keep in touch. As he placed it on his ear, as Natasha helped him by readjusting it, it's an earpiece basically. It's very small, so it's not very noticeable. After helping him adjust the earpiece to his ear, she lead him to her next destination, to the lobby, to wait to wait for Agent Inko. She informed him that she would be coming to pick him up. She should be here in a few minutes. I'm looking forward to working with you, Izuku. As she said goodbye, as she left to go do her normal stuff she normally do around this time, Izuku by himself in a empty lobby. Sorry, a empty lobby. 15 minutes later, Inko finally arrived to pick up Izuku. Good, you're here. Follow me. I want to get you settled in before I have to go back to work. As they take one of the aircrafts back to New York City, when they landed, they both got into Inko's car as she drove him back to her house. That could be mistaken for a mansion. So, how long have you known? As they're driving in the car, quiet, as she didn't turn on the radio for some reason. How long have I known what? Biologically, technically, I'm your mother. Oh shit, the blood test. That sneaky theory. Since the moment we met, I would never forget my mother's face, regardless how old she is. So I'm younger than the other version of me. That's a plus. I don't know what about I don't know about being your mother and all, but I'll be your guardian at least. You'll be my new member to my little hero team I created to help the Avengers deal with minor threats that they don't have time to deal with. As you can see, my house is pretty big. There's plenty of spare rooms you could choose from. I'll be sending you to the same school that your fellow teammates go to. I'll give you a few days to your new living arrangements before I have you attend school. And no hacking, so I don't have to punish you. And trust me. Yeah, she pretty much smiles innocently at Izuku. You don't want that. Trust me. I have stuff I need to do. Ask one of the staff when you get hungry. They will make something for you. I should be back later tonight. Stay out of trouble. And no more stealing from famous corporations. The younger parallel version of his mother is giving off the same aura that his mom gives off when he's done something bad or about to do something that she knows about. Yes, ma'am. That's a good boy. I'll see you later. As Inka leaves the house to go back to her lab, leaving Izuku to his own devices, he spent a few hours exploring the manor, greeting any staff he come across. As he finally got to the backyard, some sort of obstacle course, as there's large metal hoops scattered all around the small man-made town that Inko built in her huge backyard. All of the huge metal circles seem to be pretty high up in the obstacle course. It seems to be they're positioned perfect for for training with web swinging around, using the webs from building. He took a mental note to try out this training course when he has some more free time. As Inga got back to her lab, having Cindy, having Cindy and Gwen test out a few new equipment that she invented for both of them to use. So how does the new suit feels, girls? Excellent as always, Miss Inko. These are sweet, ma'am. I like the black and red combination with the hoodie. I mean white, not red. It's black and red combination with the hoodie, basically. I'm glad you like it, girls. I have some good news. I officially filled another spot on our little team here. New member? That's rare. Who is this new teammate of ours? His name is Izuku, of course. He agreed on the terms we set, so he'll be joining us in the near future. He'll be attending the same school as you two, so I want you to look after him for a while. Just to make sure he stays out of trouble. I plan to, Miss Inko. As Inko used this opportunity to tease Cindy, it's rare to find you interested in a boy. Does my little Silk have a crush? I don't know what you're talking about. I just find him interesting. Cindy is unwilling to explain further. Inko knows Inko knows that look she has. That look that when she's done talking and trying to force it out of her would be more trouble than it's worth. So she let it alone for now. I want you girls to get used to your new costumes. I want you to wear these while you patrol the city. I know, Gwen, you have some things you have to deal with your parents. You can stay as long as you can, then you can head off and do your business and do your family business. I'll have Silk here pick up the slack. I highly doubt patrolling the city by herself would be much trouble for her. It's quite all right, Gwen. You take care of your family. I got this. Thanks, Cindy. As she hugs her friend, then she went to the changing room to change into her civilian clothes. When she finally got dressed, she started to make her way home, leaving Inko and Cindy to finish up by themselves. While Cindy goes on patrol, Inko decided to finish up with some unfinished projects in the meantime until she has to go back home. After several hours trying to finish up a couple of projects, she called it a day and she decided to go back home. The maids informed Inko that the young man's been training in the training course that Inko had built in her backyard to help the girls get better at swinging, basically. And she made her way to the humongous backyard. As she walks towards the little city she has made for swinging training. Interesting. He's a lot better at web slinging than the girls. Let's see what happens when I do this. As she pulled out a small controller out of her pocket, as she clicked on the remote control, as several round drones that has non-lethal lasers technology built into them, as they all go flying out of the workshop and headed towards the training town, towards Izuku. That was hard to say for some reason. While web swinging around the fake town, he noticed there's several small looking orbs following him. As when they got close enough, they opened fire at Izuku. As Izuku noticed Inko's on the ground with a smirk on her face, as she sits there and waves at him. As he's weaving around different buildings, try to lose them. No matter what he did, the drone seems to be constantly behind him. He couldn't he couldn't get some distance from them. After a few maneuvers, jumping through windows and sweeping around a different building and all fast maneuvers like that nature, he got quite a bit of distance ahead of the drones. As he made a huge web between the two buildings, as he watched the drones fly into the web and end up getting stuck. The web he could have easily destroyed them, but he didn't know he didn't know if Inko would get pissed off if he destroyed her stuff. He just wanted to piss her off. This might be the power version of his mother. Regardless what world she's from, he knows better to not get under his mother's skin. Regardless if she's just a parallel version of her. She's scary no matter what you're parallel from, what parallel or she resides from. You know, learn at a young age to fear his mother. She's quite scary when she gets angry. Izuku launched himself in the middle of the air with his web. As he let go, then dives down to the ground, landing on all fours, cushioning his descent. As he got up and walked towards Inko. Well, at least we don't have to go over that during your training. You're pretty good at web slinging, slinging, swinging. Oh my god, that's funny. My old man taught me before he lost his arm. What's with the drones? I just wanted to spice it up a little bit. Have you ate yet? Not yet. Let's fix that then. Is your webbing organic? Yeah, my body produces the webbing that I use. The old man couldn't do that. He had to create his own webbing. What else can you do? I have every ability my dad has, to a higher degree. My spider sense is far more advanced than my old man. Plus with my superior strength and speed, I have no doubt if I fought my dad in his prime, I believe I could take him. I want to see the extent of your abilities. We can't wait for that tomorrow. I'll take you to one of the labs so we could do some tests. Nothing too serious. I'll just hook you up to a couple of devices to gauge your speed, your agility, strength, and so on. I also want to test your spider sense to see how it differs between the two girls. I totally forgot to mention that your two other teammates have the similar abilities as yourself. That's why I wanted S.H.I.E.L.D to recruit you so I could place you on that team. You'll be mostly working with them. Occasionally you'll do a solo operation, but those are rare. Why don't you go and take a shower before we eat? I'll be waiting for you in the dining room. Time later, Izuku got done with his shower and sat down in the dining room across from Inko. Izuku had a pleasant dinner with his parallel version of his mother. He expects his mother was probably like this before she met his father. Izuku's mother never lost her mean streak. Izuku always knew that his mother was a sadist. Meeting the younger version of his mother only proved it more. Izuku decided to stay on her good side. If she's anything like his mother from his world, it's safer to be on her good side. And he's not suicidal. He's fully aware type of pain this woman could cause him if if he ever crossed her. So I've been meaning to ask what the other me is like. I hope she's still doing science. Izuku has a genuine smile. My mom stopped doing science? That would never happen. My old man would never allow it. One of the things that they bond over was science when they first met. At least that's what at least that what they told me at least. My mother is the main reason why I'm here. She created the device to allow me to travel to different parallel Earths, even though it was only a one-way trip. Of course she did. She's me. No matter what version of me, what parallel world, I'm always very gorgeous and highly intelligent. Quite successful. As she covered up her mouth with her hand, as she let out a smug laugh, laughs, more than one basically, as she got up from her chair. Good night, Izuku. To think, the pair version of me had a kid. That's something to ponder over. As she mostly saying that to herself, as she walks out of the room to think on the idea some more. And that's where we're going to cut it. Hope you guys have a good night and day, judging by time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.